Warning, today is going to be disruptive for most business owners, and we're going to be paving a path for a new reality. Welcome to Talking with Teri TV. I am your host, Teri Karjala, and thank you for joining me on this Entrepreneur Girlfriend Hour, along with our live audience studio. We are Colorado's first transformational talk show where quantum leaps happen. This episode is sponsored by Complete Business Accounting and Imagine Choice Customized Health Solutions. Okay, so anyone that's new to me, I used to be a therapist for 28 years. I started combining it with energy psychology and then applying quantum physics to help business owners expand their businesses by clearing the blocks that were holding us back and then stepping into creating our new reality, whatever that might be. And so for those that are fairly new to me, a few years ago, I had what I call just a very dark time. I was going through this experience where I give the metaphor of this. I was out in the ocean. Now I'm going to say this is a metaphor, okay? I was out in the ocean, minding my own business, okay? And along comes a shark, and I just punched it in the face. And I'm like, not today, shark. I got bigger things to do, okay? I better get to safety. So I get to the shallow end of the water, and then I'm pretty certain I was wearing a big chunky necklace because out of nowhere, a crocodile came up and death thrashed me down. And I am short, but I am scrappy, and I just went to town, okay? I got the crocodile off, right? I come back up, and I step out onto the beachy area, and I say, wow, goodness, that was very terrifying. I better just take a moment to collect myself. So I went ahead and took a moment, catching my breath, and then all of a sudden, I looked down and I am standing in quicksand. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I get big and I survive the quicksand. I dust myself off, I step out, and then I'm like, oh my gosh. I look out and there's this beautiful horizon. And it's like, ah! And I'm like taking a deep breath and I'm like, thank heavens. Yes, I am so excited and delighted. I run out and wouldn't you know, a Mack truck hit me. And I am now pretty certain I am now in a wheelchair with every single bone broken in my body. And I'm minding my own business, okay, wheeling along. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a steamroller flattens me flat as a pancake. It was absolutely terrifying. And if you've ever watched that movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, he goes over and when he's in Toontown, he gets flattened by the steamroller and he goes over and he blows himself back up. So I blow myself back up. Now in real life, I'm 5'2", but in my reality, I identify as 5'7". So I just blew myself back up, giving myself an extra couple inches. And now along the way, there's been little pricks, like no puns intended, but little pricks. I just super glued myself, right? A little Band-Aid and fixed it right on up. So I share that story because many of us have been going through this tumultuous time with not knowing what to do, not knowing where we go. And that place and space was uncomfortable for me. It was so terrifying for me. And yet I couldn't feel like I could come up for air. And there was times when I actually wasn't sure I was going to make it through. Anyone can relate to that? And I was just like, okay, I come back up for air and I grasp a piece of air and then I come back down and I come back up and I'm like, all the while. And a few years ago, I went through my phone and I was looking at all the pictures. And all the pictures were perfect, pretty, amazing. You would have never known if you looked through my phone right now that I was going through a hard time. Because I put on my smile, I went out to the world, and I said, everything's fine, hunky-dory. And it wasn't, right? It wasn't. So often, I know personally, I've been in the therapist chair as a therapist for decades, and I know that a lot of times when people come into the therapist chair, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and they're opening it up to me because it's a safe place, or as me as a coach because it's a safe place. But out in the open, we can't have these conversations. And I was really saddened by the fact that even my own support system, which I thought were A-liners, okay? None of y'all, okay? I'm just saying, it's none of y'all. Actually, one of my support system was in here, and I actually was very, very open with sharing what was going on. But for the most part, my support system was like, Teri, what do you think they said to me? Because they're like, get over it, suck it up, you're fine, you're gonna be okay. And so they didn't necessarily want me to dwell on it, and I didn't want to dwell on it either, but I just was like, I need a life preserver. Like, someone throw me a life preserver or something. And so in that moment, I realized, why are we not having these conversations? So that, I was just gonna get my jam on. So I realized that, why are we not having these conversations? And that's when the birth of the Entrepreneurial Girlfriend Hour was really born. Why are we not having these conversations? Why are we not bringing them forth? And so that's what I hope to bring on today. This is going to be a really special episode because I'm doing it super scared. I shared with one of you that I started really tapping into my higher self and started listening to this higher self speak through me and to me. And I don't know about you, but I've always been the person in business to muscle through, to figure it out, to put that square peg in the round hole, and to, I called it mechanically manifesting, where you're like, you're just forcing it to make it happen. And it's not a way that is conducive. It's not a way to continue to scale. It's a harder path, but I didn't know any better. And so when all of this happened, I'm like, okay, I survived. I can't go back, and you can't go back into life and be like, okay, I've had this like life-altering experience and then be like thrown out the same way you came in. It doesn't happen, okay? I got thrown out over here. It was like whiplash, serious whiplash. It's like on those, what do you call those, like little sizzle reels, or the like the sizzles, you know what I'm talking about? The amusement park ride, and it gets, it is, and like the world. Is it a tilt-a-whirl or whatever the scissor thing, and they fling you? I got flung. So I got flung this way, and I was like, okay, I made it out alive, so now what? And so what I realized is it's about tapping in, tuning in, and turning on that infinite knowing, that infinite wisdom. Several people texted me this week, probably in this audience right now, and they said, what's the topic? And I said, remember, we go back to the box of chocolates. And the box of chocolates is you never know what you're going to get. And part of the reason of that is because I don't know what that is. I am waiting for divine guidance. And so I've been freaking out this whole week because I've been like, I have no guidance. I have no divine guidance. What does that mean? What am I going to talk about? I have a whole bunch of people coming in. How am I going to add value? And so last night, literally got the download. And so we're going to unpack that today as far as this path that we're on. And a lot of times we're on this path that we think, okay, this is my path. And at some point, that path, that map, if you will, we take the same map forward. So we get to a destination, and then we just are like, well, that worked. As entrepreneurs, we'll take the same map and we'll try to go to another destination. Those maps are for different things. They're for different purposes. They're for different adventures. And I think a lot of times what we have been told is, at least I'm going to sit in my seat for a second and say what I was taught. And I'm curious to hear from all of you. What have you been taught about entrepreneurship or about building a business? For me, it was, you got to hustle. You got to go to that event, and you got to poke out people with business cards, and you got to follow up and do this and do this, and what else? What are some other things that you've been taught and trained as the entrepreneur?
You got to grind.
You got to grind. Holy buckets, I became the best grinder there was.
And if it is to be, it's going to be up to me.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's right.
else.
And that's right. Nobody else, right? What are some other things?
Like you said, just really pushing, and it's all up to you, and just got to make it happen.
Got to make it happen.
Wake up every morning and I got to make this happen. I've got to close this deal. I've got to do that.
I put so much pressure on myself. And so when I was public speaking, Revi would show up. And Revi is my anxiety that would show up. And pretty soon I would speak at places and I'd put Revi in place. And I was like, okay, you can have the first 2 minutes of my talk. And then I got used to that. And then I said, okay, Revi, you can have the first. And then one time I went to an event in Dallas and I had a keynote major stage for 4 minutes. And I'm like, you can't have 2 minutes. That's 50% of the talk. You can't have that. So I told Revi, I'm like, you can either show up now while I'm eating dinner, or you can show up at 8:30 because I was speaking at 7:30. She shows up, thank goodness, when I was eating dinner, right? And now Revi is just super lazy. She does not show up. She's like a teenager. She sleeps in. She doesn't even show up anymore when I speak events, right? I'm like, okay, because I've been doing this, working this muscle enough that she doesn't show up. She has been showing up this entire week. And I'm like, Revi, what are you doing here? And I think part of this is when we're doing something big, we want to, for me, I want to add value. That's my biggest thing is I want to add value. So how am I going to add value if I'm not going to have a plan? And so if you see here, that was my intro. That was it. And this one, you think there's something on here. It's just blank. This is just for like me, Teri, WTF, just kidding. Just hold on a piece of paper to make you feel safe. So this is my safety blanket, okay? But what are some other things? What are some other things?
Most small businesses fail and you shouldn't even start.
That's a good one. Yeah, by 50%. By 50% in the first year.
And yeah, so that's a fun one. And I have proven people wrong with that.
Yes, love it. Any more comments? Just raise your hand and we'll just pass the mic. Perfect.
The biggest thing I remember in one of the seminars, and what a bunch of bull, but if it's before 8 o'clock in the morning, that's when you do your paperwork. And from 8 to 5, you don't do anything but sell because those are the golden hours. And when you have kids, there's always stuff you have to do. But 8 to 5, no, you should be hitting the pavement.
I was so brainwashed, I would not leave my office until 5:05. And sometimes, when my other company, when I moved, had this internal office, and I loved it because I could sneak out and no one would know. But I would sit in there and be like, okay, is it? Okay. I was done probably at 3 o'clock, but I was so conditioned to only leave at 5 because I'm like, what would my staff think? My staff's going to think that I'm slacking on the job if I've already gotten my work done and I cannot leave. And it was just the funniest thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. It was such conditioned response on how we have a business, right? We have to have this structured piece. Okay. Anyone else that wants to share?
I was just going to say that everything needs to be perfect, including me. Yeah, and that there is that you'll be judged if you're not perfect,
Yes.
and as opposed to authentic.
Yes.
And everything, and a part of that for me was always everything had to be organized 100% for the next day before I left that day.
Yes. So you're going to get tons of authenticity from Teri today, okay? Okay. Anyone else? Just raise your hand real quick if you want to share. Perfect. This is definitely an activation conversation.
I think we need to learn to tamp down the fear.
Yeah.
You've got to be brave and you've got to try new things to keep things fresh and keep people enticed.
Yeah.
Listen between the lines is one of my favorite sayings because that's trusting your intuition.
Yes.
And we have so many wonderful people in our lives that we can learn from, that the fact that we're here today is going to just elevate what you're trying to do, and you just need to trust us.
I know. Thank you. Oh, big hugs, big hugs. We're going to take a quick break after that. Right after that comment, we're just going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to be right back. Therapist, spiritual guide, business coach. My unique method blends mindset, energy, and business mastery for deep, lasting change. Ready to become unstoppable? Learn more at talkingwithteri.com. We jump into entrepreneurship with not knowing a path to go, and then we're just always in the figuring out stage, in my opinion. And the other day when I was sitting here thinking about what am I going to talk about, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I've been documenting this process from the very get-go, and Deb has been along on this journey from the get-go. And I was like, I've been documenting this process, and I'm like, maybe I'm just supposed to show the messy middle. How many of us have been told, I know I was, that as a coach or as a therapist, or you have to go through it, and then what's the rule, guys? Ladies, what's the rule? You have to wait at least 6 months to a year before you can share the story because you've done your healing work. Am I the only one who knows this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe I was a therapist. That's why they're really jacked up. Okay, maybe it was just my therapy world. Okay, but in a lot of times they were like, you know what, you have to be 10,000 steps ahead of everybody else. And I realized that in my life, I'm always going to be 10,000 steps ahead of most people. Each one of you are going to be ahead of the person that you're helping by 10,000 steps, even though we're going through your stuff. And as humans, we are here to grow, evolve, expand, and there's never a spot where we're just like, oh, I'm here, I've arrived. We are always going to be here, growing, evolving, and expanding. So maybe it's just time to show the messy middle of not having it all figured out, of not having it planned. So going back to my piece tonight was really about going in blind and not having it all figured out and not having a game plan. Because I think sometimes for me, planning it means controlling it. But I'm planning it, so it feels different than controlling it, right? We just use a different word, but it means the same thing. We're trying to control it. And so what I found over the time of my experiment is I was trying to be so rigid and trying to be so perfect, so put together, so that I was guaranteeing to add value, right? And my experiment number 9, I went back and I just recently watched it because I said, this was the experiment that started everything. What was so different about number 9? And you know what number 9 was? I went in completely el natural. I went in with not a single thing planned, not a single thing prepped or planned or anything. And it just evolved. And so I said, that's the Entrepreneurial Girlfriend Hour. That's what this is about. This is about bringing forth the conversations that matter now in the moment and not having it all figured out. And I'm also in the place of trusting this intuition and being guided by what is going to happen. If you would have asked me 17 years ago if I would ever do public speaking, the answer would have been hell no, okay? Terrified. But I now know my plan and what I'm being pushed to this. My point is, when I went through that experience, I got thrown out to the side. I realized that I had to have a different map. How many of us have been going through and using the same map, trying to get different results, trying to do it differently, trying to do it hard, trying to do it the way it told us how to do it? And what if it's simply letting all of that go and just trusting in the moment? But there's pressures, right? People texting me and saying, what are we talking about? I don't know. People saying, what to expect? I'm like, expect this, right? And letting that go and letting that piece of you to be like, okay, if I were to create a new map, if I were to create a new possibility, what does that look like? What does that new place moving forward look like for me in my path? Does that make sense? So just out of curiosity, is anyone going through a similar experience right now where life is being thrown upside down? Okay, but just a show of hand, I just want to see. So raise them high so I can see. Holy buckets, everybody except for one. Except for one person.
Everybody's turning around to see who's the one.
I know, right? The one. Because she just went through it probably. Because
Already been there, done that.
yeah. We're all going through this really transformational time on our planet. Because on a global level, energetically what's happening is that everything is being disrupted. And it's been being disrupted since really about 2011. Most people didn't feel it until 2019. It really took root in 2020. And now people are starting to be like, okay, this is the new way, right? So when I say this, I'm going back into just being in alignment with just opening up to the flow of it and just trusting that whatever is going to present is going to present, and there's going to be value added based on that piece. And I know what I am here to do and what I'm here to activate, if you will. And part of that is just the activation of energy. And we've already had some really great experiences with that where people are like, oh my gosh, this created an idea, And I've already had so many success stories just from people just being here in this experience and being like, oh, this happened and this happened. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's just, why am I making it so much more difficult than it has to be? How many of you are guilty? Like I've made it so much more difficult, right? So I'm going to play with this. Anyone want to share kind of their journey, their path? You're welcome to share yours too, Janet, if you'd like. What's that?
You want me to come?
You are welcome to come up.
Well, you're the only one. Tell us
Yeah.
how Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Let's have a conversation because, again, so much of this has been about this personal development, personal journey that we've been on. And it's awakening the planet, right?
Yes.
And just trusting because, again, this whole week I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And I've shared this story with you, I think, but I'm going to just share with everyone else. Not too long ago, in the last year, I had this experience where I felt like I was at this experiential gathering, and there was a part of it that I was like, I was like actually like screaming, and he was just like, okay, I want you to go in. He's, I just want you to surrender. And I was so afraid to surrender because I was afraid that I was going to die. Like it felt that intense. And I was like, and I remember him coming out to me and we were like this meditation thing and he's, you've got to surrender. And I surrendered and I felt like I was going to die. And I was like, okay, I'm going to die. What's the worst thing that can happen? I could die. Okay, I'm just going to die. And I surrendered and then there was such this massive relief. And I was like, oh, look at me, I didn't die. So I share that experience because coming into this week, I was like, Teri, you just got to surrender. You got to surrender so much that you're going to feel like it's going to die. And I was like, okay, I might just die. And I had to surrender to that level.
Yeah. At one point in my life, I had just gone through a divorce. My whole life had fallen apart. My two boys went off to the Marine Corps. You name it, it had happened. And I remember being stressed about controlling. And I remember thinking, no, wait a second. I believe in a divine power.
Yeah.
And it's cold out. And so if I become homeless and I go out in the streets and I die, I'm not worried about that. So what am I worried? Literally,
Yeah.
I had that conversation with myself. And it was just like, like I grew wings.
Yeah.
Because surrender is huge. And it's really, I will tell you, I went through a 4-year program to learn to become an energy healer, part of my healing.
Yeah.
And they spend an entire year, the 3rd year, on surrender
Which
to
is-
the divine. So
which
if you
is-
have a
yeah.
belief in the divine,
Yeah.
you have, I always say, we're all on canoes on the ocean, and that gets pretty rough sometimes. But if you have a faith in a higher power of some sort,
Whatever
then
that
you
is,
have
yeah.
the outriggers. So you're still going. You're still going to rock,
Yeah.
but you're not going to flip over.
Yeah. I agree. And we were talking about surrendering.
Yes.
About that level of just surrendering and not, and again, for me, it's like letting go of all the expectations, all the stories
Yes.
that I'm going to say it because I told you, I gave you a warning all, that we were trained and ingrained to believe. Like, this is the way you do life. This is the way you do business. This is the way. And what if we got it wrong?
And what about the unconscious beliefs you got when you were this big and you don't even remember you have them? Those
Yeah.
are the biggest, ugliest, hardest to become aware of because you can't get rid of them,
Yeah.
those beliefs, if you're not aware of them.
Yeah. Let's do this. Any thoughts or questions that you all have here with our live audience? And for folks that are that are joining us online, put in the message real quick. What's your biggest challenge of letting go of control, surrendering to this process?
I think one of the things that, with regards to an entrepreneurial or just even in life in general, and we talked about those things from our past, right? Is that money blueprint. Because that really affects how you think about your business and how you try and make it, and that it doesn't grow on trees and you've got to work hard and all those little things, that those little adages that you heard as a child, and it comes back and it's in the background playing all the time for you. So I think that's a big thing.
And I think too also, so we live in this, like I'm just in the 3-dimensional world, we have, I don't know, bills, we have mortgage, we have expenses, we have linear time, like all the things. But like when you're in you know what though, I will have to say that in this place of surrendering, I've been playing a lot in the 5D element of just like anything is possible. And I just had to surrender the money. And you know what is so funny? Because I'm normally on the phone and I'm like calling people like, hey, come and join us. Hey, come and join us. And I did not do it this time. I was like, I'm blessing and releasing. I had some conversations with some people and then I was just like, I'm blessing and releasing. And I was just like, oh, look at this. I didn't have to effort as hard.
Yeah, I love that word,
To that-
efforting.
I had it, yeah, efforting. But you're right. So in the business world, and maybe you want to say something to this too, in the business world where we have this drive to produce money, and that has been always, okay, you got to go make money versus, and what I've been playing with is like, instead of focusing on the money, is just doing what I love to do. That happens to be talking.
And how you
I'm just like, how can I talk more? How can I just randomly talk? And so I went to the coffee shop the other day, and I was just like, I'm just going to talk to a lot of people, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's just by me doing what I love, like it was producing money over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What were you going to add to that?
I was just going to say how you feel. It's how you feel about
Yes.
money, because
energetics
I'm
of
going to
it.
quote loosely Joe Dispenza that your thoughts are electric, your feelings are magnetic, and you draw to you what you feel about money. So you may be thinking, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But if in the background there's this fear of the money, there's this fear of scarcity, then unfortunately.
We're going to create that, yeah.
The
We just,
other thing, if
we
I-
just get tuned into that dial, right?
Yeah.
We're tuning into scarcity. We're tuning into that mindset of, okay, there's not enough. And I always like to finding the abundance of everything. And this is a silly exercise, okay? So I'll go out in the back patio, like, which is my favorite place to be, and I'll look at all the blades of grass. I'm like, there's an abundance of grass, right? There's an abundance of leaves. There's an abundance of, I love the ocean. There's abundance of molecules that make up the ocean. There's abundance of snow, the snowflakes that make up the snow. There's abundance of grains of salt or sand that make up the beach. And you just sit in that place of, there's an abundance, right? There's abundance of money being made every day. What was the quote from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? He says he had 5 golden tickets, right? And he said, but we could get $500 from this. And he's, why would you trade that? Money is made every moment. There's an abundance of money, but there's only 5 of these, right? And so it's just like reframing the mindset around the abundance of money and the abundance of it and the energy attached to it. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we were here with one of the ladies, and she was struggling with the money concept as well. And it's like, looking at your relationship to money, what does that look like? Because again, that's a map that we've created and programmed into that reality, right? And we're getting more of that reality in that piece of
Much
it.
more. And if you can't feel positive about money, feel positive about the blades of grass. Feel positive about the relationships you have.
Yeah.
Shift your focus to something that you do feel positive about, and then that spreads over everything, including the money. But
Or just like small amounts of money. Oh my gosh, I love,
and appreciate.
oh my gosh, I am a money, I'm gonna tell this story because my daughter is actually in the audience with me for the very first time. I know, she has such a heavy schedule. But I share this story, I told her, I said, when money shows up in any amount, you just say, thank you, I'll take more of that. So we were coming out of this department store, and she's like this, and there was, in the snowbank, there was a $20 bill. And I was like, yes, just like that. And I was like, thank you, I'll take more of this. So we get to the car, and about 2 feet from the back of our car, she was like, there's another one. And I'm thinking like it's going to be a $1 bill. And she's like, it was another $20 bill. Within like literally 30 seconds, $40. And she's like, this is so easy. Thank you, I'll take more of this. Thank you, I'll take more of this. And I'm like, and so we joke that she has this magic wallet because this money just keeps magnetizing, but she doesn't have any belief systems that are negative towards the money. So we went one time, she had $187 in her wallet. I'm like, honey, where did that money come from? I don't know. And we opened up a bank account, and then it just multiplies. She always has money, right? And she's like, I always have money. And I'm like, I know. She has this magic touch with money, okay? Just touch her, like the wallet, and it just makes money. Nice. But the concept is, right? Look at the energy of this. I always have money. Money always comes to me. It's just a shift in energy, and there's a delightfulness versus a stress of the bills. So when bills are coming, you're like, okay, oh, I have the bills. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm so excited that I get to pay this bill because I get to have rent. I get to have my space. I am so grateful for this bill because I get to have electricity. I'm so grateful for this bill because I get to have a cell phone. Like, it's shifting the way that we see the energy of that is powerful.
Absolutely.
It's a battle for conversation. Yeah. I love it. Okay, any other thoughts real quick? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break.
Friends don't let friends shop for health insurance alone, especially online with a bottle of wine. Skip the spammy calls, endless emails, confusing options. We've got you covered, literally. I'm Deb Salmons with Imagine Choice Customized Health Solutions. No more guesswork. We shop for best plans for you With lower rates, the healthier you are. We personalize your plans with confidential information, and it's hassle-free. Let us take the stress off your plate so you can focus on what matters most. Imagine choice, health insurance with a human touch.
Okay, we're going to do a quick little bonus round here. So anything that came up for people that want to share, had insights, or want to do any types of clearings or exercises. Hey, I have a block that I want to play with. This is the opportunity to do that. I'm looking at people, making eye contact. Oh, and we have a person, yes. She's regretting that. What's it mean? What? Go ahead.
Do you want on here?
Yeah, what's the piece that's coming up?
I'm 58 years old.
Okay.
And about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I had a epiphany moment in another group that I'm part of. And somebody said, a lot of us are surviving our lives and not thriving.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello. I feel like I've been surviving. It was just one of those moments. I've been surviving my life. There's a lot of joy in my life and there's a lot of good things, but I have a hard time absorbing it all. And so the surviving piece of me is, oh, we need to stop surviving and start thriving. And so that's a switch in my head that's going to take some time to convert.
Do you want to come up and play? Just out of curiosity, as she gets settled, how many of you are experiencing that right now? How many of you feel like you're surviving, right? You're not alone on that. Do you see all those hands, right?
What? I'm not alone in that? I thought it was all me.
I'm going to keep this general so that more people can be supported by this. So I want you to close your eyes for a second, and I want you just to go through that feeling of just hanging on, dear life, not sure how we're going to do this, how I'm going to grow my business, be successful, be all the places, and yet provide for my family, have extra to vacation, and get my mortgage paid, and be all the things to all the people in all the ways. Okay? So what's the emotion that comes up for you when you think about surviving versus thriving?
Big anxiety.
Big anxiety. Okay. How much is big anxiety?
It's pretty big.
On the scale?
10.
On the scale from 1 to 10, what would it be? A 10?
10.
Okay.
It can get pretty high.
Okay. And that's anxiety right now that you feel?
We'll go with 9 right now, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go with 9. Okay, that's okay. All right. Anyone else? I want you to think about what that is for you right now. And if you just want to put that on your paper real quick or just have it mentally. I'm just going to run through a little energy clearing real quick. I incorporate access consciousness. I incorporate EFT. I incorporate Donna Eden's work with energy. And just along the way, I've just tapped into my intuition. So I'm going to have you doing some tapping. Okay, it looks weird, but just trust me that it's a powerful exercise. So I want you to go ahead and tap right here. And I want you to repeat after me. Go ahead and repeat after me.
I'm going to repeat after me. So sorry.
Testing. I was just testing. You were successful.
Thank you.
Priceless. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just say,
Even though
I've been conditioned
I've been conditioned and trained
to fear my success
to fear my success
and to come from this place of anxiety
and to come from this place of anxiety.
as I step into my business.
As I step into my business, even though
I've been surviving
I've been surviving
for a really long time,
for a really long time,
and more and more evidence
more and more evidence
shows me that I'm just surviving.
shows me that I'm just surviving.
What if
What if
I could shift that?
I could shift that? And what if this anxiety
Could be the excitement for the new.
could be the excitement for the new? What if I could recreate
My story
my story
with this anxiety.
with this anxiety?
Because as you all know, anxiety it shows up the same way in our body physically as fear, as it does with excitement, right? Physiologically, it's the same thing. So we get to choose what that looks like. But if I put all my information, all the evidence into this, that this means this, the brain goes, yep, this means this.
Yeah.
And then we create that cycle, that downward spiral of that cycle, okay?
Yeah.
So
Even though
I have all this anxiety,
I have all this anxiety
and I choose to know
and I choose to know
that I can be safe.
that I can be safe in releasing and letting go.
What comes up for you right now?
The belief that I can let go, and
Okay.
I'm taking steps to do that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tap right here, and this is gonna look silly, but we're all tapped together. Look at this. I wish I had some pictures of you all right now. Hey, Brooklyn, can you do a 5.0? So
Even though
I have all this anxiety,
I have all this anxiety
and I'm afraid of letting go.
and I'm afraid of letting go,
What if I did let go?
what if I did let go?
I'm not gonna let go.
I'm not going to let go.
Teri, I'm gonna keep a hold of this.
Teri, I'm going to keep a hold of it,
And I'm not going to let it go.
and I'm not going to.
It's ridiculous for me to let it go.
It's ridiculous for me to let
And
it go.
I'm never going to let it go.
And I'm never going to let it go.
Because if I let it go,
Because if I let it go,
that would mean what? What would that mean? Success. Oh my gosh, that would be horrible. Change, success. What else? Money.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of the things. Okay. What if I allowed myself, and then tap underneath your arm, like right here, what if I allowed myself
what if I allowed myself
to be open
to be open
to that possibility
to that possibility
that there's something different,
that there's something different?
or creating a map
Creating a map
to a different reality?
to a different reality.
What if
What if
I could be open
I could be open
to that
to that
reality?
reality?
I get to choose.
I get to choose.
And if I get to choose, then you're going to do your thumb, which is right here on the nail bed, right here on the either side, right there. If I get to choose,
If I get to choose,
why in the heck am I not choosing that?
why in the heck am I not choosing that?
I choose to know,
I choose to know.
and then right here, the first finger right here, I choose to know
I choose to know
that I can be safe
that I can be safe
in releasing
in releasing
anything that's not serving me,
anything that's not serving me,
and choose to know
and choose to know
that I can be open to receiving.
that I can be open to receiving
And the middle finger right here, all the possibilities
all the possibilities
that I deserve,
deserve,
because I've worked my hiney off for it.
because I've worked my hiney off for it.
Okay, right here. And so how many of you have worked and worked and worked and worked, and then you don't feel like you've gotten ahead? What if we just said, you know what, I deserve this, and just own it? Like, I deserve this.
I deserve this.
I've worked my hiney off,
I've worked my hiney off,
and I deserve this.
and I deserve this.
And I'm just going to say this, or repeat after me. Money come, money come, money come.
Money come, money come, money come.
Possibilities come, possibilities come, possibilities come.
Possibilities come, possibilities come, possibilities come.
Top of the back of the hand between your middle finger and your ring finger on either side, right here. This is where it gets really weird, and I promise we will. This is the bonus section, so no one's gonna know. Just kidding. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to open your eyes while still tapping. Okay, and then I want you to look hard down left without moving your head like this, and then look hard down right, tapping like this, and then do your eyes in a circle without moving your head, and the other way, like this. I know, we're really challenging everyone right now. And then I want you to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then hum 5 seconds of twinkle, twinkle. And then count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now I want you to take a deep breath in. I want you to exhale, and then I want you to go back into that anxiety. Where would you put yourself on that scale of that anxiety right now?
6.
Okay. Anything else that's coming up for you or anyone else for that matter? Did everyone's else go either stay the same or go down? All down? Okay, perfect. Love it.
Went down.
Okay, cool. I'm going to tap you right here. So even though
Even though
I am not going to let go of this
I am not going to let go of this.
because I am committed,
Because I am committed.
fully committed
Fully committed.
to my story,
to my story.
and I'm not going to get rid of it.
And I'm not going to get rid of
Because
it.
if I get rid of it,
Because if I get rid of it,
that means I'll have to be successful.
that means I'll have to be successful.
And I don't want to be successful.
And I don't want to be
Because
successful.
I don't want to serve a lot of people.
I don't want to serve.
And I don't want to help a lot of people.
And I don't want to help a lot of
Because
people.
that would be awful.
Because that would be awful.
Just kidding. So I choose to know
I choose to know
that I can be safe
that I can be safe
in releasing
in releasing,
so that I can create a big impact,
so that I can create a big
help a
impact.
lot of people,
Help a lot of people.
help a lot of families in need,
Help a lot of families in need.
help. And then again, like the ripple effect by you standing in your power
Yeah.
has a direct impact on every single person that we impact. I always say it's like we baked some brownies and then we're not sharing our brownies. So stop. If you're going to go to a potluck, you're going to bake some brownies, you're going to share brownies, right? We're in Colorado. It makes sense to share your brownies, okay? So please share your brownies, okay? Please share your brownies, okay?
I can't make those kind of brownies in my room.
Okay, good. That's probably good because she serves families, okay? That would be inappropriate,
Children,
okay?
children.
And just say, I choose to share my gifts.
I choose to share my gifts.
I choose to share my gifts
I choose to share my gifts.
in a big way.
In a big way.
Because the more I share,
Because the more I share,
the more I serve,
the more I serve,
the more the world is benefited,
the more the world is benefited,
the more I can leave my legacy.
the more I can leave my legacy.
I choose to know
I choose to know
that I deserve
that I deserve
this.
this.
If I didn't,
If I didn't,
I wouldn't have had the idea.
I wouldn't have had the idea.
I wouldn't have had the motivation behind it.
I wouldn't have had the motivation.
I
behind it.
wouldn't have put all this time and energy and resources into it.
I wouldn't have put all this time, energy, and resources into it.
I choose to know that I deserve.
I choose to know that I deserve.
I deserve success.
I deserve success.
I deserve to serve.
I deserve to serve.
I deserve to create an impact.
I deserve to create an impact.
I choose to let go of all the anxiety
I choose to let go of all the anxiety
that's not serving me on this path.
that's not serving me on this path.
Move, and I like to call it move over, Revy.
Move over.
Because Revy is there to serve us. She's harmless once you make friends with her, okay? Just make friends with Revy. That's what I call her, but you can call her other things, whatever it is, right? But choose to make friends with her because she's there to protect you. So here's what I tell people. When she shows up, give her a name. So she's called Revy for me. So I say, hello, Revy. And whether that's fear, that's anxiety, whatever that is. And then I thank her for showing up. I'm like, thank you, Revy, because she's trying to keep me safe. She's trying to keep me in check. It's very sweet. It's very kind. It's very loving, okay? She's doing her job,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So I say, thank you, Revy. And then I tell her, I got this. Okay, you can step aside. You can step aside. Okay, and so just giving her permission, and then I usually will do the ho'oponopono saying, which I don't know if I'm saying that, but it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And then if I need to say that while I'm rocking, it helps. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Just to let go of that piece of it, okay?
Yeah.
And just make friends with her when she shows up. One of my old clients, he called his Richard Cranium. It's short for dick head. I think it's brilliant. So if you like his, take his, okay, or you come up with your own clever one. But when she shows up, just recognize and acknowledge that she's there, and just give some love to yourself, because we want emotions. Emotions are our guidance system. We want that. When I'm walking down a dark alley, I want to feel afraid, because a fear makes me activated. It makes me aware. I'm going to get out my cars. I'm going to get out my keys. I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready to take on. So if someone comes up and tries to attack me, I can go crazy on them, right? We want that, okay? So it's not letting that bog you down by having that emotion. Does it make sense?
Right. Yes.
Okay, close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes real quick. Go back into that level of 6 that you had. Everyone else play along with me. What number was that? Go back into that number.
3.
Okay, and I want you to tap right here. But everyone, I want you to tap right here. If you're like 3 or below, just tap right here. I want you to breathe in, and as you breathe in, I want you to look down at the floor, everyone. And as you breathe in, I want your eyes to come ever so slowly up the wall, and then up to the ceiling. And then exhale as you bring your eyes back down from the ceiling, all the way down, 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 and then back down to the floor. And then do that again. Breathe in, all the way up. And then exhale as you bring your all the way down, back down, 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 down. And then look at the floor and tap right there. Take a breath in and out. Where would you go on that scale right there?
2.
Okay, we're gonna do one more quick round. Tap right here. Actually, we're just gonna cheat into some of it. We're gonna just tap right here. Then we're gonna tap right here. So any and all places that is not allowing you to release any anxiety that's connected to not succeeding, to this concept of surviving, not thriving.
Yeah.
Anywhere that is, are you willing to revoke or can't destroy for that? Say yes.
Yes.
You're within.
Yes.
And out, right and wrong, good and bad, pocket pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. I want you to tap right here. Deep breath in. And then 4 inches from on the side of your ankle. Are you able to reach down on that front? Okay. And then take a deep breath in. And out. Okay. Where would you put yourself on that scale?
Probably still a 2, but heading right down to 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just do right here. I like to get myself to 0. Okay. Take a deep breath in. Bring your eyes, look down at the floor. Bring your eyes all the way up. And then exhale as you bring them back down. And then do that again. Breathe in. And then exhale. Okay, where would you put yourself on that scale?
I'm a 0.
Okay, close your eyes again. Just tap in. 0?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that feel?
Strange, but good.
Okay, good. I love strange but good. I love strange but good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to invite you. What's your thriving story that you're going to start to create? So I'm going to think about that. Again, the new map to the new thriving story is what do I get to speak life into? Because we as humans are so good about speaking life into the things that we don't want, that we can't have, that we are not good enough, the stories that do not serve us. So if we can start tapping into and turning on to, and again, knowing that we're a work in progress, We all have messy middles, and every person that you ever meet is going to have a messy middle, because we're always going to be in necessarily the messy middle, right? Because we're always growing and evolving and expanding. If you're not in the messy middle, you're probably dead. I'm just saying, okay? Because we are going to always grow and evolve and expand. And just, if I can just have a little moment of grace for women and women entrepreneurs, I'm just going to say this really quickly of just saying, be kind to one another. Let's build a sister up. Let's bring that sister up. Let's support one another, because I can't tell you how many people that I have experienced, not in this room at all, that I'm going to pull you down. You can't do this. You're not, whatever the story is. And it's no, we can really have a really big impact by changing the trajectory of entrepreneurship, women-owned businesses, and helping support one another in this new era of this new energy, of this new possibilities. And now let's step into that and create the evidence and find more of that. Yes? Was this helpful? How was this? Any comments or quick comments or thoughts real quick?
So I have said
Can we
this-
grab the microphone real quick for you? The fuzzy one.
I have said this over the last probably 2 months. So you know how a beautiful butterfly really comes from a moth.
Yeah.
So from like this mushy moth. So I am saying that I am in moth mush. I am messy in moth mush.
Love it.
And soon to become a beautiful butterfly.
I love it. I love that. We've been using that metaphor as well. And I've been telling people, I'm like, I'm in like the goop, right?
Yeah.
And I have my eyes out. My eyes are fully out. And now I feel like my whole face is coming, pulling out like this. So I feel like I'm this far. Like I'm emerging. But you're right. And we're all going through it. We're all at different stages and places. And I think what's really happening is it's forcing us to now disrupt everything we've known and look at it with fresh new lens and new eyes, and have a new awakening to what that possibility and that future looks like for each and every one of us. So thank you all for the bonus section. Thank you, Stacy, for coming up and being vulnerable. Thank everybody else for being vulnerable today in these conversations. And again, thank you all for being here on the Entrepreneurial Girlfriend Hour. As always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be the magic of you. Massive love, and we'll see you on the next bonus section.